Hello, spelling group number 3. Brielle, Josue, Elizabeth, and Anna. These are the next set of spelling words for this week. Today is September 16, 2020. And I'm going to give you, okay, the words for this week are a little bit difficult. If you missed a lot of words last week, these are even a little bit harder. So I suggest that you really study your spelling words this week, all right? If we miss too many this week, I will contact your mom and dad and let them know. I've already done that with a few students who missed too many. And some of you guys did not return to me your spelling test, all right? So if you don't return your spelling test from Friday, I will talk to your mom and dad also. So make sure that you write them as many times as you need to. Some words are really easy, like for example, clap, C-L-A-P. You don't need to write that 10 times, just write it 2 or 3 times, and maybe not even that, okay? But like, remember the word definition, that was a long word, and if you're not sure how to spell it, you probably should write it over and over and over until you can write it without looking and get it correct, all right? So I gave you 5 words on Monday. Today I'm only gonna give you 5 words because they are difficult, all right? I gave you chicken, mistake, category, burial, and bulletin. That should be on your second column of section N3. And then we're going to continue. This is going to be number 16 through 20. So your next word is energy. N-er-J. N-er-J. And it's going to be as in her. Go ahead and write that down. And then after you write it, then look up and compare it to mine. You should be writing it syllable by syllable, spaces between your syllables, all right? N-er-J. N, the vowel is using its first sound. You don't need to mark it. N-er, as in her. Underline your multi-letter phonograms. And this says energy. Okay, it's the sound that you're hearing here is I, as in I. It should be the I, but remember why we don't use an I at the end, because English words do not end in I. So we need to replace it with the ya, I. So that's the first sound of the first sound of ya, it's a consonant sound, then I are vowel sounds, so it's the first sound of the vowel sounds. So that's why we use A-Y. Now, there's a rule that you very, very rarely will hear, and it's going to be hard to remember because we hardly ever use it or see it. And that rule is that ga will say ja before a Y. So anytime you see a ga that comes before a Y, it'll say ja. You don't need to mark it. I sometimes like to put a little, it's not underlined, but just a little like that to tell me, to remind me that it's a second sound, ja, energy. All right, your next word is custom. Let me look at something right here. Every culture has their custom. 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 Custom, for those of you guys who speak Spanish, is the same as costumbre. Something that's like a habit, something that's like something traditional, something you do because that's what your culture teaches you to do or they like to do. Custom. It's neither good or bad. It's just something you do. It can be good, but it can be bad. All right? Custom. The first one, there are these two consonants each have 2 sounds. Kas and s, and they're both using their first sound. This has 3 sounds. Kus, first sound. So they're all using First sound, all three of them. We don't need to mark them. Tum. This has three sounds. A, o, u. Tum, ah. It's using the first sound also. We don't need to mark anything. Custom. Make sure that you listen to me say these words, because if you learn how to read them, you become a better reader. This is how you learn new words, all right? And the next one, the word is leather. Leather. Now listen carefully. Less, you're using an E-A-A multi-letter phonogram and a Z multi-letter phonogram for less. The second syllable, is as in her. Go ahead and write that down. Leather. Leather comes from the hide, the hide of an animal. It could be a cow, it could be a buffalo, the hide of animals. They use them to make shoes, purses. It's very sturdy. Okay, leather. Leather. That should be, this is an L. Okay. This is your EAA multi-letter phonogram and your Z and your as in her. Three multi-letter phonograms. The first one has how many sounds? EAA. When I'm giving you the sounds or the rules, you should be trying to figure out what the sound is before I even tell you. You should be trying to figure out what the rule is before I even tell you. This is group 3. You should know almost all of your rules by now, except for those ones like this one here, which we hardly ever use. But the ones that we use often, you should know them already. You should know all your multi-letter phonograms by now, except for there are advanced multi-letter phonograms that we haven't learned. You should know them by now. You should try to be, if you're not trying to figure out what the sounds are or what the rules are before I say it, you're not making your brain work. You need to make your brain work, and that's how you learn. You learn by pushing yourself, trying to do it before someone else does. If you're waiting for me to give you the answer, you're not going to learn it, okay? You're not going to be a good reader. This is how you become a really good reader, all right? And this is how you become a good speller too. So this E-A-A has three sounds. E-A-A, les, eh, E-A. It's a second sound, number 2. Les has two sounds. It's the first one. We don't need to put a 1, just underline it. And then we have as in her, one sound. All right. The next one is empty. Empty. The trash can is empty. Emp. Listen carefully. Emp. Emp. T. Empty. Emp. Okay. No multi-letter phonograms. Is saying its first sound. T. This is pronounced T with an I. English words do not end in I, so we replace it with a ya, I, and that would be the first sound of the vowel sounds. Ya, I, ya, is the first sound number 1 of the vowel sounds. The first one is a consonant sound. And your last word is oyster. 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 Oy, that we may not use at the end of an English word. Now, why are we using, well, let's write it first and then I'll tell you. Okay. Oy, that we may not use at the end of an English word, but we are using it in the middle of a word. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's write it. Oyster. Okay. So let me look at my rule really quick. Oi. All right. So we have oi, and you guys know what the other oi is, right? The other oi. So we have oi and we have oi. So the rule for using this is oi that you may not use at the end of an English word, and oi that you may use at the end of an English word. But it says you may never, it doesn't say you only use it at the end. It says that you may use it at the end. So you can use this one in the middle of a word. And in this case, we do. So it says oi can be used within a word or at the end. This oi is never used at the end. This one you can use inside a word or at the end. This one you can never use it at the end of an English word. All right? So the word is oyster. So we're going to underline the oi. One sound, ois. S has two sounds, and in this case it's ois, first sound, and as in her. Okay, so you should be able to read these words when you see them in a chapter book. You should be able to spell them by Friday. Please practice them. I'm gonna go over the words right now so you know what they are. This one was energy, custom, leather, empty, and oyster. So you only have 10 words this week. Please practice them. I don't want to have to call your mom and dad and tell them that you're not practicing. You have extra time because I'm giving you less videos. And this week especially, you're going to have even less videos. So you're going to have extra time to study. Please study, all right? So we'll see you guys on Friday, and I hope everyone does well on their tests. All right, bye-bye.